I love meatballs, especially when they're doused in homemade marinara sauce. So today I'll be sharing with you my recipe for meatballs, but made with mushrooms instead. They are incredibly easy to make, and you definitely won't end up with dry meatballs with this recipe. In this recipe, I'll be working with chestnut mushrooms as well as baby king oyster mushrooms. So what we want to do is chop them up finely, and we'll be frying it up with some garlic and onion. Now my mushrooms are nicely minced up. I've also got minced garlic and onion, and we can now go fry them up. So I now have some oil heated up in my pan, and I'm going to go in with my chopped onion and garlic. At this point, I'm also going to add in some dried herbs and red chili flakes. Now I'm using Herbe de Provence, but you can use whatever dried herbs you have at home: thyme, oregano, rosemary, whatever you fancy. So we're going to fry that up till it's nice and fragrant, and then we can go in with our mushrooms. Now as you cook, you're going to realize that water will get released from the mushrooms. You want to continue cooking until all of that water gets evaporated so you don't end up with soggy meatballs. I'm going to give it a quick sprinkling of salt and pepper, and then I'm going to cook it for another minute, and then we can set it aside to cool. Now as this cools, we will prepare the rest of our meatball mixture. Now it's dead simple. We are going to start with some oats. I'm using rolled oats today. They are full of fiber, and this is going to be really, really good to help you hold the meatball together. In that goes, and then I'm going to add in some breadcrumbs as well. And then I'm going to add in some chopped coriander right now. If you're not a fan of coriander, you can completely leave it out. You can use parsley instead, whatever you have at home, really. Okay, all that's done. And now I'm going to go in with some Parmesan cheese. You can use whatever cheese you have lying around at home. If you don't take cheese, you can also use nutritional yeast, because that gives you the same nutty, creamy flavor that cheese gives. Ooh. Okay. And we're just going to grate it in. Alrighty, that's in. We're now gonna go in with our olives. Now because I'm using cheese and olives, we don't need much salt in this. We're just gonna rely on those natural flavors. Okay, let's use 5 olives. If you want, you can also use anchovies, or you can also use miso paste if you want something a bit more Asian. Okay, that's my final olive. Now I'm just giving numbers and ratios that I like, but feel free to change it up. You want to use more olives, less olives. You want to use sun-dried tomatoes, it'll be really nice in this too. In they go, and now we can add in our cooled mushroom mixture. Like I said, this is dead easy. We're just combining stuff in. Okay, mushrooms are in. I'm now going to finish it off with some mustard. I'm using whole grain mustard today, but you can use any type of mustard that you like. And this is just gonna lift all the flavors up. So a nice heaping teaspoon of that. Mix it all about. And then the last thing we need to add are our eggs. In with my second egg. Now, if you don't take any eggs, you can use flaxseed gel as well. I've not tried that, but I've heard that it works really well as a binder. So we're just gonna mix that all in. Once all the ingredients are nicely incorporated, we're gonna cover it up, put it into the fridge to chill for 30 minutes, and that's gonna help all the texture and flavors develop, and then we can go bake them up. Okay, I've got my mixture all chilled now, and we can proceed to forming them into little balls. I'm using an ice cream scoop here. You can use 2 tablespoons if you like. This is just gonna help me measure it out, and then I'm gonna form it into balls with my hand. Just really rough ones. All we want is for it to stick together. Now I love this recipe because you can make a huge batch at one go, and it can be part of your meal prep that will last you the rest of your week. So now I've formed all my balls, and the oven is also preheated at 205 degrees. And I'm just gonna brush these with some olive oil, and then they can pop in the oven for 15 minutes. My mushroom meatballs are fairly small in size, so if yours are any bigger, just put them in the oven for a few more minutes. Okay, my mushroom meatballs are nicely oiled, and now they're gonna bake for 15 minutes in the oven. All right, the meatballs are done. Let's remove them from the oven. They're looking nice and golden brown. And we can plate them up. Okay. Oh, ow, I burnt myself. Alrighty. Just gonna pile them up in a bowl. And I've also prepared some homemade marinara sauce, which I'm gonna put over these meatballs. Yummy. And now for the sauce. And we're gonna finish it with some cheese, of course. And there you go, my mushroom meatballs topped with some homemade marinara sauce and grated Parmesan cheese. Try this at home, let me know what you think, and may the food always be with you. All that's in, and I'm gonna add in some mustard. I'm using ancient whole grain mustard today, but you can use any type of mustard that you like.
Ancient?
Sorry, in French it's ancien, so I translated.
Is it
I know.